Alright, so this is NWN2-Storm of Zehir. It's the second expansion pack for NWN2. And I will go ahead and show you some of the features that we have planned. The background to the game is that this takes place at the same time as the first expansion pack, but it takes place in a different part of the world. So you start the game on the ship. The first feature that players are likely to find is the new party creation system. In previous versions of the game, we only had, you made one character and then you found computer characters as you played, pre-made characters as you played. Here you get to, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop me and ask. But here you start on the ship and you go to the party editor. So now you can make 4 characters, all from scratch. You can make 4 fighters or 4 wizards or anything like that. You can remove people and add people. So you have a lot more creativity and ability to control what your party consists of. So you have 4 characters that you make, and also 2 more can join you. There are a lot of pre-made, fully written personality characters as well. So I'll also show you some of the new classes. So this class right here is the Swashbuckler. Swashbuckler, it's a new class. It's a fighter class, but it uses dexterity instead of strength. Instead of very powerful attacks, it goes for critical attacks. Very precise, rapier, one-handed weapons. The second major new class is the Doom Guide. This is the Doom Guide here. She is an undead fighter. It's kind of a cleric prestige class. So she fights undead. She has a lot of turn undead abilities. And that is the Doom Guide. And the third major new class that we have is the Hellfire Warlock. So it's basically a warlock that has become even more demonic than it was before. This is called the Hellfire Shield, which is why she's on fire. Normally, you can turn this on and off, but when she has the Hellfire Shield active, she will reflect damage to people who attack her in combat. Alright, so that's the beginning of the game, is that you start off on the ship, and then eventually you wind up crashing. I'll show you that right now. So you've shipwrecked here on this beach. And you don't know where you are. All you know is that there are goblins off on the beach. You don't know, they look very hostile to you. So the other new system, if you've ever played Neverwinter Nights before, or Neverwinter Nights 2, you know that there are things like diplomacy and intimidate. And previously, the speech skills that you had can only be used by one character. But now what we've done is the party conversation system allows you to use any member of your party in conversation. So my main character doesn't have Intimidate, but another character does. So if I see something that needs Intimidate, I can switch over and use that in the party conversation systems to make sure that you're not locked out of any part of the conversation that previously you would have been unable to proceed in. So that's a major new shift for the game. And it also works well with skills. Different characters will have different skills, and you're going to be able to use those skills in the conversation system, and also on the Overland map, which I'll show you in a second. So this is the opening fight of the game. Like I said, you're shipwrecked here on this beach. You don't know where you are. There are these goblins over here that are kind of hanging around. You don't know what they've done. There are a bunch of dead people here too, as well, from your ship. So you think they're probably not very friendly. So this is a character called Volo. He's a very famous Forgotten Realms character. He's kind of a bard, and he tells your story as you play the game. He's never a member of your party, but he just kind of gives you quests, and he kind of narrates the story of what you're doing in this jungle. So he tries to negotiate with these Batiri. But unfortunately, they are very hostile, so they're going to come out and try to kill you. And the opening fight is meant to be kind of a big, not incredibly challenging, but it's supposed to be a big kind of set-piece fight. So there are actually 3 different boss monsters here. You see my Hellfire Warlock is kind of setting people on fire from afar. So there are 3 main fights here, and eventually you wind up getting arrested because the place that you're in is called Samarak, and the inhabitants are very kind of hostile to outsiders. So eventually you do wind up getting arrested by the guards and taken off to a city called Samar Gol. And I'll give you the spellings of all these in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and load up the overland map now. So in previous Neverwinter games, you had to go, if you wanted to travel, you had to click on a point on a map and you would instantly load that location. But here we wanted to kind of remove that abstraction and make it so that you actually can travel on the overworld map. So this is Samar Gol here. This is the first main city of the expansion that you get arrested and taken here, and eventually you manage to escape and get to explore the world. So instead of just a very flat map, we have a whole new overland map here. There are roaming monsters that will attack you if you get too close to them. There's also patrols which will actually fight the monsters if they get too close to the roads. There are traveling merchants which go from city to city. That's part of the new economic system. There are also quests, like this guy here is a fire giant. If I talk to him, he's been kind of he says he's been collecting tribute from the villages, and I have a diplomacy check, or some of my characters do. Again, if you don't have diplomacy, you can't use it, but if you do have a character that has it, you can say, you know, you better get out of here or else we'll attack you. So use diplomacy, and you can avoid a fight, get some experience, and he just runs off. Or if you want to, you can just fight him as well. And he actually drops a lot of gold, so it might be better to fight him. You can see the monsters do spawn in, so if you clear them out, they will come back. And obviously, as you go further away from civilization, the monsters will get tougher and tougher. So it's they're kind of a risk-reward. If you want to explore, you'll find better items, but you'll also have to fight more difficult enemies. There are also hidden objects on the world, like this gravestone here. See, if I switch to my rogue now, has a very high search skill. She's going to find a crate somewhere around here, I think. See, searching and all the skills like we've used before, listen, spot, they haven't been used very much in previous Neverwinter games. We kind of wanted to reward people for actually using those. So if you have a character with a high listen, a high spot, even like tumble and alchemy, you can actually use those skills, and if the monsters are actually too low level for you, they'll actually run away. So if you come back to an area that you're after a very high level, you won't have to worry about the monsters. They'll just run away from you. So you see there's all kinds of different stuff on the overland map that you can find. If you have the appropriate skills, you can switch between characters at any point. So you can totally use whichever character you like. And the different ones will have different skills. So high search and high spot is good to have, but high survival also matters too in terms of getting away from your opponents. And I'm going to show you real quick one of our areas here and some of the new enemies that we have. So the main enemies in the expansion are what's called the Yuan-Ti. They're a snake cult. They're very famous from previous Forgotten Realms games. I believe they were in Icewind Dale 2 as one of the main enemies. So they worship snakes and poison and darkness. They're very evil. So this is one of the new tile sets that we have. It has a lot of running water, a lot of snake sculptures and things like that. And I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the Yuan-Ti enemies that we have here. So we have also the spider constructs, which are like blade spiders. They're mechanical spider enemies that will definitely attack you. They're very, very rough. And over here in the distance is the Yuan-Ti. I believe this is a Holy Guardian. So they fight with 2 swords. They also have spells, and they have a lot of traps in their dungeons as well. I think I'm actually about to die. Oh. And there's also a new death system as well. In previous Neverwinter games, if you died, or if one of your characters died, he would pop back up at the end of battle with 1 health. And now, if somebody dies, you have to actually resurrect them. Or go to town and have a healer do it, or something like that. But we're trying to make it less easy to recover. We want to make it harder to rest, harder to just pop back up after a battle and heal everybody. You actually have to be kind of careful about what you do in order to get around, or in order to survive battles. Overall, it's a lower level expansion. It starts at level 3. It goes up to about level 15. So the previous expansion was level 20 through 30. So we're kind of making it a new adventure, a lower level, but it's also going to be more difficult AI. And again, the party mechanics for things like death are a little bit more difficult as well. So it should be a bit more challenging for a lot of players.